This is Daniel Holtzclaw, a former police officer with the Oklahoma Police Department. In December 2015, he was convicted of multiple sexual offenses, including rape, of which he was sentenced to 263 years in prison. As it's been reported, the officer would conduct these assaults while on patrol, targeting African-American women from poor neighborhoods who've had a history of drug abuse or prostitution because allegedly no one would believe them if they came forward. He would do this by running his victims through the police database to see if they had outstanding warrants or previous arrests. However, during the early morning hours of June 18, 2014, he would perform a traffic stop on Jani Ligens, a 57-year-old grandmother, and this stop together with her allegations would be the spark that lights the fuse. See, a couple of hours after the officer performs this particular stop, Jani Ligens would go on to accuse Officer Holtzclaw of sexually assaulting her, sparking off a rigorous investigation by the Oklahoma Police Department's Sexual Crimes Unit. And as the investigators dug, more and more alleged victims would come forward, all pointing their fingers at one man, Daniel Holtzclaw. Subsequently, Daniel was tried and convicted of assaulting 8 women out of the 13 he was being charged with and handed a hefty sentence. And finally, justice would be served, or so it seems. As with everything in this life, nothing is ever so black and white. There's often a lot of gray area. In Daniel's case, this comes in the form of evidence, or lack thereof. For starters, throughout Daniel's case, there is no physical evidence linking him to any of the crimes, and which is more, there are 0 independent eyewitnesses who can corroborate any of the allegations against him. And that's not all. Some of his accusers have had their accounts completely discredited, and a good example of this is Sade Rion Hill and her assertion that Daniel sexually assaulted her while she was handcuffed to a hospital bed. This assertion that Holtzclaw raped her in the recovery room of a busy hospital with the door open is simply outrageous, and the fact that these allegations made it to court says a lot about the investigators and their investigation. And as if that's not enough, we have Jani Ligens, the catalyst for the entire investigation. As you might recall, she had accused Daniel of sexual assault, oral sodomy to be precise, but when investigators ran a SANE test, they couldn't find Daniel's DNA on her. What's more, another one of his accusers had originally stated that the person who raped her was a short black man.
Tell me your description of him.
He's black.
He's black male.
Muscular.
Muscular. How tall, could you tell?
But for some reason, the investigators ignored this statement.
This is in the District Court of Oklahoma County, State of Oklahoma, the State of Oklahoma versus Daniel K. Holtzclaw, case number CF 2014-5869. Verdict, count 1, sexual battery. We, the jury, impaneled and sworn in the above entitled cause, do upon our oaths find as follows. Defendant is guilty of the crime of sexual battery and set punishment at 8 years. Count 2.
Daniel Holtzclaw was sentenced on his 29th birthday. He wept as his life was being destroyed. All the while, protesters were joyfully singing happy birthday outside the courts. I believe it is safe to say they did not care about justice.